Bismillah walhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah, nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, wa man tamassaka bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Thumma amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mati al-Islam wa sunnah. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the sunnah. حدثني جماعة من الشيوخ بإسناد كل إلى سفيان بن عيينة عن عمرو بن دينار عن أبي قابوس عن عبد الله بن عمرو بن عاص رضي الله تعالى عنهما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in this tremendous hadith, those who are merciful, they will be shown mercy by the most merciful. Be merciful and show mercy to those who are in the earth, and the one who is above the heavens, he will show you mercy. قال العلماء ذلك بأن العلم رحمة نتيجته رحمة في الدنيا وغايته رحمة في الآخرة. The ulama, they say this is because knowledge is mercy. The result of knowledge is mercy in this world, and the ultimate goal of knowledge is mercy in the akhirah. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He benefit us in that which He has taught us, and that He teaches us that which will benefit us, and that He increases us in knowledge. That He increases us in beneficial knowledge. We continue to go over the tremendous book that was authored by Imam al-Nawawi, where he collected a number of ahadith, 40 some odd ahadith. Each of these hadith, there are ahadith that contain therein principles from the principles of the religion. These principles that if we were to implement them, it will lead to an enrichment inside of our lives. It will lead to an enrichment inside of our families. It will lead to an enrichment inside of the society. It will lead to an enrichment of the whole world. These narrations, we have to contemplate deeply upon them and strive our best to implement them bi'ithnillahi ta'ala. We have reached the next hadith, the hadith عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب يوم القيامة. ومن يسر على معسر يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة. ومن ستر مسلما ستره الله في الدنيا والآخرة. والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه. ومن سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله في من عنده. ومن بطأ به عمله لم يسرع به نسبه. حديث رواه مسلم بهذا اللفظ. This tremendous hadith has been collected by Muslim with this wording, narrated on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said what translated means: whoever removes a worldly grief from a believer, Allah will remove from him one of the griefs of the Day of Judgment. And whoever alleviates the needs of a needy person, Allah will alleviate his needs in this world and in the hereafter. Whoever shields or whoever hides the sins of a Muslim, Allah will shield and hide for them their sin in this world and in the hereafter. And Allah will aid his slave as long as his slave is aiding his brother. Meaning, as long as the believer is aiding the believer, be it male or female, then Allah Ta'ala, He will aid them. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, or went on to say what translated means, and whoever takes a path seeking therein knowledge, Allah will make easy for that individual the path to Jannah, to heaven. And no people will gather in a house from the houses of Allah, reciting the book of Allah and studying amongst themselves, except that tranquility will descend upon them, and they shall be enveloped in mercy, and the angels will surround them, and Allah will mention them to those who are with Him. Meaning, Allah Ta'ala, He will mention those believers to the angels, those high angels. And whoever is slowed down, whoever is impeded by their actions, meaning their actions are not a lot, they don't bring forth a lot of actions, they will not be hastened, they will not be pushed forward by their lineage. So whoever their actions come up short, their lineage is not going to propel them to the forefront. This hadith is tremendous, bila shakku bila rayb. And if we were to contemplate on the meanings of these beautiful sentences, these beautiful words that are contained therein, then these things are game changers. They are game changers. When we look at the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Man naffasa an mu'minin," that whoever alleviates from a believer, whoever alleviates from a believer, what are they alleviating? What are they removing? Kurbatan min kurbi dunya, they are alleviating a kurbah from the kurbi dunya. Kurb is the plural of kurbah. Kurbatun, the jami', the plural is kurb. Kurb is the plural. Now, kurb is the plural. Whoever alleviates a kurbah. What is a kurbah? قال المحدث المدينة, the scholar of hadith of Al-Madinah, the premier scholar of hadith of Al-Madinah, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Abbad, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he mentions, he says, Al-Kurbatun hiya shiddah wal-dhiq, that qurba, it means a difficulty and a rough and tight situation. A difficulty and a rough situation. Na'am. Whoever can alleviate this. Na'am. Man naffasa. Whoever can alleviate this. Meaning, what tanfisuha, the meaning of tanfisuha is izalatuha. Means that they remove it. So the meaning of alleviate here is that they remove it. They remove this rough situation that the believer is in. When one reflects upon this, one will realize a number of things. From those things is that there are going to be times that the believer is touched with difficulties, and that there is none from amongst us who can escape these difficulties. And when one encounters such difficulties, be it in their life, be it economically, be it mentally, so on and so forth, right? There's so many things that the believer could go through from difficulties and from hardships, that when one encounters a believer and they are in a difficult state, they're going through a hard time, then it will behoove us to try our best to help that believer. So this will initiate, or should initiate in us, a feeling of community, that we seek to find those who are in need of something, and then we try to help them as best we can. We try to alleviate any difficulty as much as possible. Also, when one looks at this, one will see the importance of community, because we are being encouraged to look out for one another. We are being encouraged to help and alleviate the difficulties from one another. So much so that in doing so, there is a tremendous reward. And that reward is that whoever alleviates from his believing brother or sister a difficulty from the difficulties of this world, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall remove from them a difficulty from the difficulties of the day of judgment. This is a tremendous encouragement that if you help somebody here in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will remove from you a difficulty from the difficulties of the day of judgment. When we reflect on this, then we see the importance of community, and we see that the believers, we need each other. And we have to be there as a support group for each other. And in doing so, the reward is tremendous. In doing so, the reward is tremendous. So now I want us to reflect upon this one sentence. I want us to reflect upon this one thing, is that if we were to do this, how much of an increase will we see in our communities? If we were to implement this, how much of an enrichment will we find inside of our communities and inside of our societies? Now, this is something that we have to contemplate on, and we have to reflect over and consider. The Shaykh goes on and he mentions, he says, Al-jaza'u ala tanfis, that the reward for removing kurbatan fi dunya, the reward for removing a difficulty from the difficulties of this world. Naam. And yunaffasa anhu kurbatun or kurbatan min kurbi yawm al-qiyamah, is that he shall have removed from him a difficulty from the difficulties of the day of judgment. Al-jaza'u min jinsi al-amal, because the reward will be appropriate to the deed that was put forward. Now, so let us reflect on this. The deed that was put forward is that a difficulty was removed. Now, a difficulty was removed. A difficulty from the difficulties of what? Of the dunya was taken away. So the reward of it is that what? That person will get a difficulty removed from them. But this difficulty that is removed from them, it is not a difficulty of the dunya, but rather it is a difficulty from the difficulties of the day of judgment. That is the difficulty that will be removed from them, because they removed a difficulty from the believer in this world. Again, I want us to reflect on it. That is something that is serious. That if we help somebody out, if we aid a believer in the removal of a difficulty from the difficulties of this world, then as a reward, a difficulty from the difficulties of the day of judgment will be removed. When one thinks about this, right, one sees that as believers, there is great reward in being helpful and helping others. Also, one sees that this great opportunity is one, unfortunately, that is squandered. And this great opportunity, unfortunately, is one that we do not go out in search of. When one hears this, right, and I really want to stress this because I want the believers really to take this to mind, take this to heart, and to really strive to change, right? Because when we look at this, we see that it is in our best interest to seek out the believers who are going through a hard time and then to help them. That's in our best interest. Now, bila shak wa bila rayb, it aids our brother, it aids our sister who's going through a difficulty. Now, and if we help in the establishment of this, this becomes something normal in the Muslim community, then this will in turn help us when we fall into a difficulty, because the Muslims will be acclimated to implementing this hadith, will be acclimated to implementing this prophetic guidance, and that is by looking to help people. So we are upon the receiving end, and we need to be helped. Then we will, because we've fallen into a difficulty, then we will find those who will be more than eager to help us in our difficulties, right? So this is a win-win situation. This is a win-win situation. Everyone wins in this situation. The one who is in need of help, they win because they get help. The one who is in need of having a difficulty removed, they win because they get a difficulty removed. And the one who helped, the one who helped in the removal of that difficulty, they win because Allah will remove from them a difficulty from the difficulties of the Day of Judgment. It is a win-win situation, right? So, it just begs one to imagine and to ask, what benefit is it and is there in being selfish? Where is the benefit in being selfish? Where is the benefit in only looking out for oneself? Where is the benefit for only concerning oneself to one's family? Where's the benefit from this? I mind my business mentality. Whatever happens over there, I'm not worrying about that. I mind my business. I'll stick to myself. Where's the benefit in that? Where is the benefit in that? And what's the dalil for that? What's the dalil that we don't get involved, meaning in helping people? What's the dalil that we don't get involved when it comes to looking for Muslims who need something so that we can try to help them with it? Where is the proof that encourages us to be like that? But unfortunately, you find that this is the MO of a lot of Muslims currently, unfortunately, is that they only worry about themselves, right? And that's it. They don't seek to help anyone else. This is horrible. It's not appropriate that people upon guidance should behave in this manner at all. So we have to do better. We have to do better as communities. And that starts by doing better as individuals. Now, the Shaykh goes on, he says, Al-jaza'u min jins al-amal, that the reward will be appropriate to the deed. ولا شك أن الجزاء فيه أعظم. And there is no doubt that the reward you get for this deed is way better than the deed you did. Now, because listen, you removed a difficulty from the difficulties of this world. That's the action you did, right? You removed the difficulty from the difficulties of this world, this dunya. That's what you did. But the reward is way better, because the reward is that a difficulty from the difficulties of the Day of Judgment is removed. You understand that? You get way better deal. Way better deal when you apply the guidance. You help to remove a difficulty from the difficulties of this world, and you get a difficulty for the Day of Judgment removed from you. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Now, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went on to say, وَمَنْ يَسَّرَ عَلَى مُعْسِلٍ, and whoever makes it easy and alleviates the need of a needy person, يَسَّرَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ, then Allah will make it easy upon that person. Allah will make it easy upon that person, meaning Allah Ta'ala will alleviate the needs of that individual. Where? في الدنيا والآخرة, in this world and in the next. In this world and in the next. I want you to think about that now. This is some awesome opportunities, you see? And it all comes from what? From helping others. From helping others. And, as Muslims, and I'm going to put this out there for every community, and I'm talking to myself first and foremost. I don't want anyone to believe I'm talking to them only, and I'm not including myself in it. No, I'm a part of it as well. I include myself in that as well. And that is that what? The Muslims, we should be known, right? It should be a hallmark. It should be an identifying characteristic and trait of us that is known that we help people. The Muslims, we help people. People's hungry, we feed people. People need clothes, we provide clothes for people. People need help paying their rent assistance, we help with that. Yani whatever you can think of from what it means to help someone, we do that. Transitional homes, every community should have inside of their overall plan, a plan to have transitional homes. Homes that will help people move from being homeless to having homes. Programs that will help people move from being homeless to having homes, right? So on and so forth. All of these things, these social type of programs, these things are needed, and these things are things that we should be known for. Because look at the guidance that we are called to. Now, you mean to tell me there's no such thing as a homeless Muslim? There's no such thing as a Muslim who has fallen on hard times? There's no such thing as a Muslim who is in need of food assistance? There's no such thing as a Muslim who is in need of a rehab? There's no such thing as a Muslim who needs things? Of course there are. Of course there are. And if we have these things in place, and I'm stressing Muslim, person say, what about the non-Muslims? Yeah, they deserve help as well. But what I'm saying is that we can't help them if we're not helping ourselves. Correct? Help starts at home. If we're not helping ourselves, if we're not helping people who we call brother and sister, how are we going to help somebody else? But by establishing the infrastructure that is needed to provide help for those Muslims who need help, the infrastructure is there. The same way I feed Ahmed, the same way I could feed Alex. The same way we provide shelter to Fatima, the same way we can provide shelter to Felicia. We can help. But we have to put ourselves in a position that we are able to do so. So we have to take things a little more seriously. We have to adjust our glance. We have to adjust our perception and how we look at things. We have to do better and be better. Bidnillahi ta'ala. Now, of course, I don't want anyone to say, oh, we're talking about these social programs, that's needed, but what about Tawheed? Ya subhanallah. Tawheed comes first, comes in the middle, and it comes last. Tawheed is constantly there. Those things are given. That has to be in place, and we have to strive to make sure that those things are in place, so that which is needed, so that Tawheed could be propagated, so that the true Aqidah and Minhaj could be propagated, the true creed and methodology could be taught and spread. That's a given. We got to have that. But I don't want you to become of those naysayers, oh listener, who will think that this is to the detriment of that. No. Who says we can't establish institutions where the proper Aqidah is taught, where the true monotheism is taught and is spread, where the true belief is spread and is taught, and people are educated about their religion with a quality education. And then at the same time, that same community is a community that has a soup kitchen, is a community that has a food pantry, is a community that provides all types of needs for people. Right? You can do them both. Who's to say if you do one, you can't do the other? What are you talking about? The Prophet, I said him, the same one who taught us to and teach from me, even if it's one verse. Even if it's one verse, teach the Aqidah, teach the Tawheed, teach the Minhaj. Did he not, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also encourage us with helping people? Naam, it's all from the Sunnah, it's all from the Deen. So we don't, even with prioritizing, we prioritize. Let's not. I don't want you to confuse that. We prioritize. And what comes first comes first. Bottom line, what comes first comes first. That's it. No, we don't argue about that. However, on that list, somewhere on that list, is what is establishing the infrastructure so that we can help people and be helpful. Because in doing so, we help ourselves. Now, it's not to call to be selfish, but I'm just drawing the reality to the situation. When you help others, in reality, you're helping yourself. When you make it easy for others, in reality, you're making it easy for yourself. When you alleviate difficult situations from others, in reality, you're just helping yourself to get a difficult situation removed from you. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that what translated means, and whoever makes it easy and alleviates the need of a person in need, then Allah will alleviate their need in this world and in the hereafter. The Shaykh, he mentions, he says, هذا أيضا الجزاء فيه من جنس العمل. He said this also, you find in it that the reward is appropriate to the deed. The reward is appropriate and in relation to the deed. You made it easy, you alleviated a need, so then you will have a need alleviated from you, and things will be taken easy upon you. So take it easy. Take it easy by being easy with others. Take it easy by being easy with others. Be easy on yourself by being easy to others. العمل هو تيسير على المعسر. The action is alleviating a need or being taking it easy upon a person who is in need. وذلك بإعانته على إزالة عسرته. And this is by helping him and to remove their difficulty. This is by helping them to remove their need, that which puts them in a situation of need. So you help in alleviating that. You help in removing that. And this is something important. Again, it goes back to having an infrastructure by way in which that we can do that. Now, of course, as individuals is a lot easier. You set that stuff up for yourself. Put yourself in a situation where you can help others. As communities, it requires a little more effort, a little more organization, but it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. But we have to have the will and we have to have the desire to want to do it. And we have to put forth the energy and the efforts that are needed to get it done. Anything shy of this really is no excuse. Because anything shy of this, then what's the point? To have beautiful masajid, right? Beautiful rug, it looks pretty on the inside and so on and so forth. Okay. But if people are not learning about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that facility, if people are not learning the fundamentals of their deen in that facility, if people are not learning how to read the Quran in that facility, if they're not memorizing the Quran in that facility, if they're not memorizing ahadith and studying the ahadith in that facility, if the children are not learning what is their deen and being reared upon their deen in that facility, then what's the use of that facility? I don't care how good it looks. What's the use of it? It's not functional. It serves no purpose if it's just there to look pretty. It serves no purpose if it's just there to look pretty. We have to get out of this mentality of brick and mortar type stuff. And we have to get into the mentality of serving the community. Serving the community by educating them properly. Now, serving the community by educating them properly. And then by establishing what we are able to establish as much as possible and helping them with their other needs. This is important because if not, then for what? If this is not what we're trying to do, then why are we trying to do anything? What are we doing it? What are we doing? You understand? Ala kulli hal. Again, I want everyone to think about this. I want everyone to really contemplate and consider this. I want everyone to get into gear and to ask themselves, what can I do to help and assist in the establishment of this? Understand? The Shaykh, he goes on to say, he says, فَإِنْ كَانَ, he brings an example. He says, إِنْ كَانَ مَدِينًا, if there's a person who is in debt. He's a person, he's in debt. He has a debt. سَعَدَهُ بِإِعْطَائِهِ مَا يَقْضِي بِهِ دَيْنَهُ. Then he will help him by giving him the money that is needed to take care of his debt. He will help him. If you find someone who's in a difficult situation, they're in need. So say, for example, they have a debt. Then what do? You pay their debt. Right? You find out how much money is your debt, how much you indebted to, who you indebted to. You go to the ones who they are indebted to, and you say, I'm going to take care of the account of this person. I'm going to pay off their debt. Now I'm take care of their debt. This is an example of what you can do to help someone who is in need. وَإِنْ كَانَ الدَّيْنِ لَهُ أَنْظَرَهُ فإن لم يبرئ منه نعم والإبرار خير وإبراء خير. He says, and if it's a situation where a person is indebted, but you can't satisfy the debt 100%, or if you're the person who they're indebted to, right? And for whatever reason, you really just are in a situation where you need them to pay that debt back. You can't afford to forgive the debt, but you need the debt to be repaid. Then in that sense, what you can do to help them is that you can give them some time. You can grant them a time frame and extend the deadline for when they have to pay you back. Because extending the deadline for when they have to pay you back and for giving them some more time in order to pay you back, then this is good as well. This too is good. Now, this too is good. And this is, as we see in the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَإِنْ كَانَ ذُو عُسْرَةٍ فَنَظِرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. And if the debtor is in a hard time, they have no money at the time where it's time for them to pay back the debt, they grant them time until it's easy for them to pay back the debt. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on to say, وَأَن تَصَدَّقُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah ta'ala goes on to say, but if you remit the debt by way of charity, but if you remit the debt, if you forgive his debt or her debt by way of charity, then that is better for you, only if you but knew. Then that is better for you, only if you but knew. So if you really don't need that particular debt being repaid, and you have the authority to forgive the debt, forgive that debt. And that's going to be better for you, only if you but knew. وَقَدْ بَيَّنَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ, the Shaykh goes on to mention, وَقَدْ بَيَّنَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ أَنَّ الْجَزَاءَ عَلَى تَيْسِيرٌ يَحْصُلُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made it clear that the reward for making it easy and taking it easy upon an individual by relieving the by alleviating the need of an individual is that you will have your needs alleviated in this world and in the next. It will be ease upon you in this world and in the next. So no doubt, if you take it easy upon people and you forgive their debts and you remit what is owed unto you, then this is better for you, only if you but knew. And then the Shaykh, he goes on to the next sentence, which is, وَمَنْ سَتَرَ مُسْلِمًا سَتَرَهُ اللَّهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. And whoever shields and they hide the misdeeds and the sins of a Muslim, then Allah will shield and hide their misdeeds and sins in this world and in the next. But inshallah ta'ala, we will take that inside of the next class. فنكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.